He was a first-round draft pick with a bright future ahead of him, young, talented, and destined for NFL greatness. But at just 27 years old, Rae Carruth made a choice so dark, so horrifying, that it would forever stain his legacy and raise uncomfortable questions about the league he represented. Yes, the rumors are true. Rae Carruth hired a hitman to kill his pregnant girlfriend. And the most shocking part? The NFL stayed silent. But why? Why would a billion-dollar league turn a blind eye? How did it all unfold? And what happened to the unborn child at the center of it all? Let's dive in. Rae Carruth was supposed to be a star. Drafted 27th overall in the 1997 NFL Draft by the Carolina Panthers, he had speed, agility, and the charisma to match. The Panthers saw him as their future. Fans were optimistic, and for a short while, Carruth delivered on that promise. But beneath the surface, something was brewing. A storm that would explode in 1999 and shock not just the sports world, but the nation. It began with a relationship. Carruth had been dating Cherica Adams, a real estate agent and aspiring model. By 1999, Cherica was pregnant with Rae's child, but Carruth didn't want the baby. He didn't want the responsibility, the commitment, or the consequences. And instead of walking away or stepping up, he made a choice that would haunt everyone involved. On the night of November 16, 1999, Cherica Adams was ambushed in her car after leaving a movie theater with Carruth. She was shot 4 times in a drive-by shooting orchestrated by none other than Rae Carruth himself. As she bled out, Cherica managed to call 911 and name Carruth as the man behind the plot. Police began their investigation immediately, and when Carruth fled town shortly after the attack, it only fueled the fire. He was eventually found hiding in the trunk of a car in Tennessee with cash, candy bars, and a cell phone. But the tragedy didn't end there. Cherica Adams slipped into a coma and died a month later. Miraculously, her baby, a boy named Chancellor Lee Adams, survived, though he suffered severe brain damage due to lack of oxygen during the shooting. The public was outraged. The media was relentless. And yet, the NFL, they said almost nothing. No sweeping statements, no hard stances, just silence. So what does that say about the league? This wasn't just a player caught in a scandal. This was premeditated murder. And the NFL's response, or lack thereof, was deafening. In an era when the league was still trying to polish its image, the Carruth case was swept under the rug as quickly as possible. No league-wide investigation, no reflection, just an unspoken hope that it would disappear. But it didn't. Not for Chancellor, not for Cherica's family, not for fans who demanded accountability. As Carruth stood trial in 2001, the details were chilling. Prosecutors revealed how Carruth had conspired with Van Brett Watkins, a nightclub security guard and known criminal, to kill Cherica. The motive? Avoiding child support and the fallout of an unwanted pregnancy. Carruth was convicted of conspiracy to commit murder, shooting into an occupied vehicle, and using an instrument to destroy an unborn child. He was sentenced to 18 to 24 years in prison. And just like that, a once promising NFL career ended in disgrace. But more importantly, a woman lost her life. A child was born with cerebral palsy, and a family was left picking up the pieces. So why didn't the NFL do more? Why the silence? At the time, the league had no personal conduct policy in place. There were no strict protocols for dealing with off-the-field behavior. Carruth's actions, as monstrous as they were, exposed a gap in the league's moral compass. A gap that would only be addressed years later, after more scandals forced the NFL to evolve. But even then, many believed the response wasn't enough. Fast forward to 2018. After serving nearly 19 years, Rae Carruth walked out of prison a free man. But what does freedom look like after such a horrific crime? Carruth gave a brief, awkward statement upon release, expressing some remorse, but many saw it as too little, too late. Meanwhile, Chancellor Lee Adams, now a young man in his 20s, continues to live with the consequences of his father's choices. Raised by his grandmother, Sandra Adams, Chancellor has defied the odds and become a symbol of resilience and hope. He smiles, he dances, he loves, despite it all. And perhaps that's the most powerful part of this entire tragedy. The child they tried to silence has become a voice. As for the NFL, things have changed. The personal conduct policy is now in place. Players are scrutinized more closely. But the league's handling of Rae Carruth remains a blemish on its legacy, one they rarely talk about. And maybe that's why we need to. Because silence, as history shows, only protects the powerful. Rae Carruth was given every opportunity to become great, but one decision destroyed multiple lives and left a stain on the league that has never fully faded. The NFL can move on. The media can forget, but we shouldn't. Because behind the headlines was a young woman full of promise, a child who never asked for any of this, and a league that looked the other way. If this story moved you, hit that subscribe button. We uncover the forgotten truths, the scandals swept under the rug, and the legacies left behind. Share this video if you believe these stories deserve to be heard. Until next time, subscribe for more, where the truth finds its voice.